Every year the Baltimore Ravens are in the mix, but 2025 to me feels different. This doesn't look like another playoff run, it looks like Baltimore's best chance at a Super Bowl since 2012. The offense is more explosive than it's ever been, the defense is stacked with young stars who are still developing, and Lamar Jackson is walking into the season as a top candidate to win his third MVP. And if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got season outlooks for teams across the league, plus film breakdowns and recruiting series for college, and you're not going to want to miss what's going to be coming this season. So now let's start with the heart of the Ravens' offense. Baltimore's offense has been called run-heavy, one-dimensional, and even predictable at times. But in 2025, I think this playbook is going to expand exponentially. This label will not fit anymore, and let's start with Derrick Henry. For years, people have been saying that his downfall is upon us. Too many carries, too much mileage, and he's bound to fall off. Yet, last year he finished top 10 in rushing yards and was still breaking off chalk plays. Baltimore's offensive playbook has been heavily reliant on the run game, but with a guy like Derrick Henry, it doesn't really matter if defenses know what's coming because they have to stop him. The man is a tank, he doesn't go down on first contact, he wears defenses down, and with Lamar beside him, defenses just can't stack the box. Add in Rasheen Ali, a younger back with fresh legs, and the Ravens have one of the best running back rotations in the league. But here's where things really change: the passing game. Zay Flowers has emerged as one of the most exciting young receivers in the NFL. His speed and route running and toughness after the catch give Lamar a weapon Baltimore hasn't had since maybe Steve Smith. Rashad Bateman finally is healthy. He brings size and possession skills. You've got DeAndre Hopkins, and even at his age, he can still win contested balls and move the chains. You add in the mix of Devontae Walker's deep threat ability and LeJontay Wester's shiftiness, this becomes a group that can beat you in a lot of different ways. People used to joke that Baltimore had no receivers, and now you could argue this could be a top 10 wideout room by the end of the season, especially when you rope in guys like Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. They've been Lamar's most reliable weapons, and Mark Andrews for a longer amount of time, but nothing is going to change. Andrews is a matchup nightmare in the short game, and Isaiah Likely has the ability to stretch the field. They're both one of the best third down targets in football, and even with Isaiah Likely potentially sidelined for the beginning of the season, this tight end group is going to remain strong. Up front, the offensive line is going to deserve a lot of credit too. Andrew Voorhees has solidified that left guard spot, Ronnie Stanley looks healthy again, and the Ravens continue to find gems like Corey Bullock, an undrafted rookie who's pushing veterans in camp. The Baltimore DNA is they don't just draft stars, they develop role players who become real contributors. But now let's zero in on Lamar Jackson, because everything ultimately revolves around him. Last season, he reminded everyone that he is extremely dangerous. He finished second in MVP voting narrowly behind Josh Allen. Statistically, he threw for 4,100 yards, 41 passing touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions. He also led the league with a QBR of 77.3. He also rushed for 915 yards on 139 attempts, averaging almost 7 yards per carry. This year, with the best supporting cast of his career, it's not crazy to say Lamar could go even higher than this. The only question mark is health. That preseason foot injury kind of raised some eyebrows. Reports say he's okay, he's practicing, but, it could be the team downplaying it, it could be true. Regardless, I'm going to be skeptical, I'm going to be worried that a guy like Lamar could be susceptible to injury. If he stays healthy though, he's not an MVP candidate, he might be the biggest difference maker in football. But as good as this offense is, the defense might be just as exciting or potentially even better. Think about this, the Ravens have 4 former first rounders in their secondary: Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, and rookie Malaki Starks, whom they selected 27th in the 2025 draft. Starks is expected to step right in and provide much needed versatility and leadership to this unit. Up front, Roquan Smith continues to be the heartbeat of the defense. He's got a real case to be the number 1 overall linebacker in the league. He's everywhere, sideline to sideline, diagnosing plays before they even develop. Then you've got the Ravens' secret weapon, their knack for finding undrafted guys who turn into real playmakers. That's what I'm kind of harping on in this video. Jay Higgins is the latest name drawing buzz. He's fitting the mold of Ravens linebackers who come out of nowhere and end up as cornerstones. And this depth really matters because injuries ultimately happen. But unlike other defenses, Baltimore has the horses to keep playing at a high level, even when they lose a starter. So how does all of this play out in the AFC North? Because, let's be honest, the division doesn't look as terrifying as it has in past years. Pittsburgh is deciding to roll the dice with Aaron Rodgers, and he's 42. He's coming off, I think it's 3 years post an Achilles rupture. I have my doubts, and even if he flashes, I think it's going to be hard for him to take the Steelers to the top of this division. Cleveland, on the other hand, has Myles Garrett, but that's about it. Their quarterback play is going to be under a microscope because fans want to see Shedeur Sanders flourish or they want to see him fail. There's no in between. Joe Flacco is the week 1 starter, but I think with the same reasons that Aaron Rodgers has my doubts, I have even bigger doubts of Joe Flacco. I know he had a very good season a few years ago for his age and the situation he was thrown in with Cleveland, but I just don't see that repeating, especially not with the supporting cast around him. The offensive line looks shaky. The running back room is going to be a big question mark. The receivers are question marks. You just don't know what you're getting in Cleveland. Though Cincinnati is always going to be dangerous when you've got guys like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, etc., etc. And if they stay fully healthy, this is going to be Baltimore's toughest challenge. But when you compare the rosters as a whole, the Ravens are deeper, more balanced, better built for January, better front office, better coaching. All of the check marks go to the Ravens in this division. Now, no season outlook is perfect. There are storylines that will define how this season ends, and the first one, in my opinion, in Baltimore is going to be special teams. For the first time in over a decade, Justin Tucker isn't the kicker. And that's not just losing an all-time great, it's losing a player who practically defined consistency. Rookie Tyler Loop already hit a 61-yarder in preseason, which shows promise, but can he deliver in a cold weather road playoff game with the season on the line, everybody's hopes on his shoulders with the fans going nuts at him? It's a huge unknown, and health is also another storyline. Is Lamar going to stay on the field all year? Can Derrick Henry hold up with all the hits he takes? If either of these guys go down, the Ravens' ceiling, I think, drops pretty quick. And finally, the elephant in the room is the playoffs. The Ravens have been great in the regular season, but when January comes, they've run into the Chiefs or gone flat. This year, the pressure is real. They can't just win games in September and October. I think that they need to prove it when it actually counts. But for the Ravens, here's my outlook. At the best case scenario, if everything clicks, everyone stays healthy for the most part, this team could potentially finish 14-3, win the AFC North, first seed in the AFC for the playoffs. All the works. This team has the ability to go and win the Super Bowl dominant just across the whole season. The floor, I think, realistically is 11-6, barring any injuries. You know, if Lamar goes down, obviously that floor drops. But they have the balance, they have the coaching, they have the star power, and it's not just about making the playoffs anymore. It's potentially to the point where it could be Super Bowl or bust. They should be favorites in the AFC, and in fact, this might be their best chance to win a Super Bowl in the Lamar era. If Jackson stays healthy, the defense can grow the way it should. If the special teams and Tyler Loop can hold their own, there's no reason that the Ravens won't be playing in February. In my opinion, the Ravens are never in a make or break situation. I don't think they'll ever fire John Harbaugh unless, he goes winless for 3 seasons straight. With Lamar, you're never going to be bad, of course, but it is a lot of pressure on Baltimore right now. They have had the good teams. They've had the complete rosters. They've avoided some injuries late into the season, and they still find themselves sitting on their couch by week 2 or 3 of the playoffs. We've only seen them in, one AFC championship game. They haven't made a Super Bowl. They're kind of in the same situation as the Bills are, but they've actually got a better roster than the Bills. Overall, I want to know what you guys think. Are the Ravens going to actually break through and potentially bring another Lombardi back to Baltimore? Or do teams like the Chiefs and the Bills still kind of own the AFC in January? Drop your thoughts below. I respond to every comment. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and stay locked in. I'm going to have more outlooks, more film breakdowns, and in-depth football talk coming all season long. The Ravens are loaded, and in 2025, they might be coming for everything.